Welcome to the Trader's Journey podcast, the podcast that will take us on a journey to grow from a struggling trader to an independent and profitable one. I'm your host, Amber.
And I'm Peter.
We are individual traders trying to make it in the markets and want to share our experience and the lessons learned along the way. Our goal is for you to learn from our mistakes and profit along the way.
Grab your notebooks and sharpen your pencils because we are going on a journey.
What's going on, Peter? How are you?
Hey, what's going on, Amber?
Not so much, bro. Just been busy. We didn't record our episode last week, but we're back at it. Lots been going on the last 2 weeks, and I'm really excited. My trading's been going really well. Trading once a week right now is working out really well for me. Closed out a green week last week, closed out a green day today. So things are looking up. What about yourself?
It's been, pretty busy for me lately. A lot of stuff going on outside of trading in my life, but things are starting to clear up, and I've been starting to focus on trading a little bit more. I've recognized how well you've been doing in your trading recently, and I'm super proud of you for getting out of that hole that you're in.
Thanks, bro.
No problem. And I feel like one of the things that's helping you out is actually me, because I know a few times I remember I told you to stop trading because you were up on the day, but you were eyeing up some setups that you wanted to take, but I was like, nope, close it down, just take the green day. And I don't know, I don't want to brag, but I think
you're doing a pretty good job at it.
But I think that's really helped you, and that's what we're talking about today, is having a trading buddy and having them, kind of watch over you as you trade and help you out and get another perspective, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. And you sort of took the words right out of my mouth, man. I mean, the success I've been seeing and the consistency I've been seeing, I could not have done it without you. You sort of been my second pair of eyes and, my second subconscious, telling me to do the opposite of my own subconscious has been telling me to do. So, given that, I've seen the importance of having a good, trading buddy, trading partner, when you're starting out, and even going forward, but especially when you're starting out.
Right. Yeah. And at first, when I started trading, I didn't really have anyone. I was in this other Discord group, and I did trade the same strategy as they did a little bit, but that was when I was first starting out, so I didn't really know what was going on, and I was kind of shy, and I didn't really talk to anyone, so it was pretty rough in the beginning. But once I started, getting more confidence and reaching out to people, I could really see a difference. And, just talking to other people and getting their opinion on things, I mean, it's a night and day difference. Like, other people will see things that you can't, and, I mean, you can see things that other people can't. So when you can mash heads with someone else, I mean, you're both going to benefit from it.
Oh, I 100% agree. It's nice when starting out, getting a trading buddy, not only, like you said, have a second pair of eyes on things, but, it's really important, you have somebody that's sort of in the same position you are, because as a, struggling trader, as a beginning trader, everyone is going to fall into the same bad habits. Everyone's going to make the same mistakes. And when you're talking to somebody who's in that same situation, they can actually empathize with you a little bit better. They can actually talk to you a little bit better, because, you can't go to your friends or your family, because chances are they don't know anything about what you're doing and what trading is and how hard being, getting to be a successful trader can get.
Exactly. Yeah. I've tried explaining trading to my parents and my friends at different times, and I lose them very early in the conversation. So yeah, like what you said, it's really nice to have someone who has a similar mindset and similar goals to you, because you can really connect to that person.
Right. And as part of that, when you connect with somebody, like you mentioned, in the beginning, you really help me out and keeping me accountable to my problems, right? And I think that is the number one reason that you should have a trading buddy is for accountability, right? Me in the beginning, I had a problem with stop losses. I had a problem with trade setups, and I had a problem with sitting on my hands, and, once we got to know each other, I would talk through trades and say, hey, Peter, here's what I'm getting into or I want to get into. You pull up the chart and you just say, I wouldn't do that, or yeah, it's a good trade, or if we're in a trade and the trade's going against you, you'll be the guy pushing me to hit the button, get out, take the loss, and hit the stop loss, because most traders, they like to average up, they don't respect their stops, but having somebody to keep you accountable is really, really important.
And that's something I want to touch on, because today, actually, in the trade that you got in, you scaled up in that trade that you took today instead of scaling out. And again, it's all situational, but in that case, I personally think you should have been scaling out, but it did work out for you in the end. In my opinion, I think that you should have scaled out.
You're absolutely right. I did break some rules in that trade, and I'm not happy about it. It's something I'm still working on, but I scaled in for reasons that I thought were good, because it was hitting a resistance level. I thought it was going to break, trying to anticipate that move. It didn't happen. It bounced. It eventually broke after I completely got out of the trade, and I scaled out when I was in some profitability to start limiting my risk. But it worked out. And now that we're talking about it, it's stuff like this that will actually benefit you as a trader. We're able to talk. You're able to have somebody to talk through a trade with, talk through your thought process with, right? It's similar to journaling your trades, because, as a beginning trader, we don't realize the mistakes that we make over and over again, right? But if you have a trading buddy, they will eventually get super annoyed by hearing the same thing over and over again. And then one day they'll just call you out and say, dude, you're complaining about the same thing over. You need to do something about it. And then you guys can work together and, come up with a solution.
Right. And, instead of keeping your emotions bottled in or writing them down in a notebook, you're going to get some immediate feedback from a trading partner. And sometimes, I'll yell at you even to get your act together, because being blunt with someone is the best thing that you can do. Lying to them and giving them false hope is not what you want to do. You want to be honest with them and tell them what they need to do and what they need to fix. And in the end, that is how you're going to help them in the long run.
Right. And not only when you're helping them, you're actually sort of like I wouldn't say a mentor, but you're teaching them, right? And they say the best way to learn something is to teach, right? You'll be surprised how much more disciplined and focused you'll get, because at the end of the day, no one wants to be a hypocrite, right? So you'll tend to actually follow your own advice. You guys build your relationship up, and then you guys have more conversations. You'll actually gain more clarity in your own trading, because you've gone through it a lot, or you've gone through something through somebody else, right? You're helping somebody else out in their situation, and sometimes you feel like, well, I don't want to be in that situation. So you tend not to do certain things because you've learned from somebody else's mistakes.
Right. Instead of just telling the things that you need to do in your head, you're actually telling another person and saying them out loud. And I think that's what, triggers that little thing in your mind that says, I need to do this, or I need to fix this. And again, that's one of the benefits of having a trading buddy is, talking out loud and being able to fix the things that are wrong in your trading.
Right. And when you're talking out loud, you're not just talking internally. You're actually sort of like making what it is tangible, right? Because when you hear yourself, you sort of realize like what you're doing, right? When you internalize your thoughts, you're not doing yourself any favors, because what's going to happen is you're going to forget it. And you're not going to fix the problem, but once you vocalize a problem, then it sort of solidifies it, and you work towards solving it.
Yeah. And another thing is that when you're trading, your emotions tend to get to you. And with a trading buddy, that other person doesn't have any emotions. So he's seeing the chart and the price action very clearly. And it would be very beneficial to you to hear what he has to say, because he's most likely going to be seeing something totally different than you, because you are emotionally invested in that play when the other person is not.
Oh, you're right. And as we know, trading is such an emotional roller coaster, right? We have our ups and we have our downs, but as a beginning trader, it's mostly down, right? So, when we get down on ourselves, right, we lose focus. And really the worst part of it, we start to doubt ourselves and our own ability, right? But if you have somebody to talk to in that situation, it's sort of therapeutic. Your trading buddy, he's supposed to be motivating you, right, to keep going, because we've all been there. You got to keep each other's spirits up and then make each other focused on the goal.
Right, yeah. And at the same time, you also want to make sure that you have some, mutual respect for each other. You don't want to be, yelling into the other person's ear or putting them down, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You want to be picking them up and putting them on the best path possible.
Right. You got to treat the person how you want to be treated, right? I mean, it's not going to work otherwise, right? Like, you have to have the similar mindset. You both have to be goal oriented, have that mutual respect, and you got to be that straight shooter, like you mentioned, being blunt, telling the person what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. It's really important. And the last point I wanted to touch on is part of having a trading buddy is the importance is education, right? Because when you're talking to like-minded people, you're sharing ideas and sharing experiences. I mean, it's priceless, right? We all have different thought processes, personalities, and we all excel in different areas. And you need to help each other develop, different areas, because let me give you an example, right? I think a couple weeks ago, I was in a trade and I told Peter about it. And as soon as he looked at the chart, Peter, you've got a little bit of a knack for identifying, high probable support and resistance areas, right? So while I'm in a trade, Peter goes, well, I think this price, it broke down a specific resistance level, and Peter goes, it's going to fall to this point. I didn't understand how he got to that number, so I got out of the trade with a profit, but it eventually hit that area that Peter said, right? So he's got this mind that's, he's better at identifying high probable support and resistance area as opposed to me. I'm not, right? But as Peter and I work with each other, I pick at his brain, have him talk through the thought processes that he's going to identify these levels, right? And I'm learning from him, and I hope he's learning from me as well in whatever I may be good at.
Oh yeah, you definitely have some skills. I think what I learned most from you is positioning, because in the beginning I used to, like what I said in previous episodes, is I used to be swinging for the fences and whatnot, and you taught me small size, and that was a game changer, because you can let your winners ride, and you can let your losses go down further than what they're normally allowed to. So yeah, you've definitely taught me a few things, and not even things about trading. Like, you've taught me many life lessons outside of trading, whether it's real estate or personal life problems. Like, just having that one person that you can talk to about things that you can't really talk to your family about, or they might not understand. And I can definitely talk to Amber about a lot of things, and I really appreciate him for that.
I appreciate you too, buddy. Sorry, I know you hate that word.
It's all good. And on that sappy note, I think that's it.
Just to end, when you're looking for a trading buddy, the list of traits that Peter and I came up with are: you need to have similar mindsets. You both have to be goal-oriented. You have to have similar interests. And both of you have to be the straight shooter, blunt person. But most importantly, you guys have to have mutual respect for each other. Because if there's no respect, then the relationship's not going to work. And, we're talking trading buddy or trading partner is very general, right? It can be just a small community of people. And as Peter mentioned, he was in this Discord group that, kind of fell off the map. And he and I actually met through this Discord trading group. He created his own Discord room. He invited me in. We got to know each other over, voice chat for a few months, and we just clicked. And the group itself is very small, and there's not a lot of noise, and everyone in that room has an enormous amount of respect for each other. We have different styles of traders, and we're able to sort of feed off of each other and learn from one another. So it's not just one person. It can be a small community of people that you can, lean on when you need help.
Right. And what's awesome about this group is that, there's so many different opinions on the market, and there's people, all across the world too. I mean, there's someone in our chat from Europe, and, he has a totally different outlook on the US stock market, and it's just really cool to have him in the room. And if you guys are interested in joining, I'll leave the Discord link in the description, so feel free to stop by and say hi.
All right, well, I guess that does it for episode 7. Thank you guys for listening.
Yep, thanks guys, see ya.